Greetings, everybody. I am Kyrishi Wigington, the Special Projects Manager for the Center for Third World Organizing, C2. And this is day 2 of Living Liberation 2023. Woo! We have made it. We are in our second day. We got some more juice for y'all. We got some more medicine for y'all. And I'm so excited about the lineup of people and presenters that we have in store. Today will not disappoint. I promise you. Call your friends, text your people, tell them to get in their seats because we're about to get it going and they don't want to miss it. All right. The Center for Third World Organizing uplifts the idea of liberatory leadership. And we are in a partnership with the Liberatory Leadership Partnership and several other entities within that collaboration to make sure that we can sponsor events like this and bring them to the people so that you have not only the inspiration to be liberatory leaders in the world, but also the necessary tools to make it happen. To get us going, I have a dear friend of mine. She is an amazing poet. She is a mother. She is a HBO deaf poet, a community member, a stellar community member, and great offerings that you're about to hear. It's going to be juicy. She's going to do some poems for you. She's going to get it going. Then we're going to chat a little bit. She's going to do some more poems, and then we'll get it started with our first panel, okay? This is Living Liberation, y'all. Welcome.
Hello,
Hey,
hello,
Kat.
hello.
Hey, Kat. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
So my name is Kat McGill. I am an educator, poet, and creative consultant. I consider myself a person that tries to aid in the better vision of a better world on all levels. Any way that we can bring someone's vision of integrity to fruition, I have a hand in and love seeing, for lack of a better word, people's dreams come true into a better world.
That's right. I love it. Well, you are in the right place at the right time, and we can't wait to hear your words.
All right, are we ready to get started with some poems?
We're here
All
for
right,
it.
I'm gonna set it off with this one for you guys. Here we go. I was told I could be anything. So on my next job application, under occupational history, it will read the color purple. And under duties, it'll say that I've been holding down the fifth line of the rainbow. Under supervisor, contact the sky because she got a retirement plan mapped out for me in the stars. Contract signed in fairy dust with an underlined clause that reads, under no circumstance will I ever let you fall too far. So sign me up for position of dreamer. Must I have a degree in astronomy to wish on the stars? I will make a career out of the impossible, make a million out of one life changed, and live lavishly by dusting off Skid Row and stomp in celebration on top of every cubicle made to box us in. Because you see, no one as a child imagines just being an answering service to the world, typing 40 words per minute while staring at a clock on the wall, tick-tock away your life's minutes while you rather be anywhere else. You see, I rather be skipping across Orion's belt while debating with the sun of who shines brighter. Forget hiring me as a character. Why don't you hire me for my character? Go ahead and try to challenge me with all of your standards, but make sure to take the board out of your meeting because I'd rather have a drink as stiff. Give me the task of jumping off a cliff and learning how to fly. Fire me when I die trying to be anything other than what I am, anything other than what I was born to be, anything other than what I create while I am still here. I am still here, present and willing to make the best out of what this world has to offer. So offer me more than just a paycheck. Give me life. Promote me to the moon so I may light up the night, and send me on a flight to Saturn so I may dance on her rings and spin me a new world. Because you see, position of dreamer carries the duties of molding our little girls into constellations that can balance galaxies on their forehead and pour Milky Ways that play tea parties that tend to last for decades. But don't worry, because your overtime will be paid by imaginary friends telling you stories that you can only hear when you listen to the child at heart. Show me an unemployment line, and I'll show you 100 people who weren't allowed to be a child from the start, 50 who were told not to dream, 30 who tried to fit inside a box, 20 who ended up getting lost, 10 who were told not to believe, and one Well, one, working the system to get where she needs to be, because sometimes dreaming can be obsessive and life can act as a depressive. That's why workaholic dreamers lock ourselves away in offices not to be distracted by the world. I wish that my job was to type memos, letting every single person I know that there is always somewhere better than where you are at. I would fax a picture of 1,000 open arms to let you know that when these machines don't love you, people still do. I would help you to sue your boss for not letting you off on time to cook dinner for your children because his 9 to 5 don't fit into the parent handbook of spending time with your kids. Not only for them to remind you of how to imagine, but for you to be reminded of just how to imagine. I imagine that when I apply for the position of dreamer, I'll be much too qualified to sit behind a desk. You can give me an imaginary job as long as it has purpose. So on my next job application under occupation applying for, it will still read purple because that's what I do best.
Mm.
I think that's a good one to start out with.
Listen, yo, there was so much in there. Like I would be like, "Oh, I want to talk about that," and then you would move on. I'm like, "Oh, I want to talk about that."
We can
So
bounce
much.
back and forth poem to poem. I'm good with that.
All right, I like that. You know, there were two things that really stood out when you were talking. One, I loved like the fairy dust and Orion's belt and all the um arguing with the sun about who shines brighter. I was like, yes, like let's get an argument with the sun. There was so much juiciness in that, and I thought how many people have been told, and you know, I engage them a lot that have been told not to be dreamers, who have been told that what they want is out of reach, right? Don't have an imagination, get in line, do something that's real. That and then the other thing that came up for me as you were speaking was the lack of authenticity in the world, and that people really just aren't real.
Yeah, so a few things, right? I think that so I'm a polymath, right? Which is to say, um, multiple task is what works best for me in my life, right? And I think particularly creatives, most of us are polymaths, right? We function well, right? Being able to fulfill multiple things that are going on within our head and body.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, we're very socialized at a very young age when we first start school. How this came up for me was one of the questions that's always asked from the time you hit kindergarten is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right. And it's very singular, right? It's very, very, very singular.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move through school and we're asked, one thing do you want to major in? What one thing? And we have these very singular lives as multifaceted people. And that's a socialization that happens. And what happens with that is it decreases our imagination. It decreases, it gives us boundaries that become very limiting, right, to what it is that we're capable of. And we have to deconstruct and decolonize like what that is. That box is sometimes not big enough for us to succeed. And for me, this poem actually came out of when my daughter was very little. She's in college now. But instead of asking her, what did she want to be when she grew up, I would say, who do you want to be when you grew up?
Mm-hmm.
And allow her that space to imagine. And her answer was actually purple.
Oh,
So
love
this
it.
poem is inspired from that. And I thought, how amazing is that? And how much can I learn that a child is thinking of something intangible, right? That comes down to all of its characteristics, right? And I said, well, why do you want to be purple? And she would tell me things like, oh, because, it's a beautiful color that looks good on everyone. She would say things like, she was like 6, now she's almost 19. So I'm trying to remember all the things. But she just gave these very expressive answers that as an adult was refreshing to hear that it didn't apply to capitalism. It didn't apply, right, to social structures and standards that may not be cohesive to us. It didn't apply to any of that. For her, it was like, if I truly can be all of the things I want to be, and all of those things are encompassed within
Mm-hmm.
this color, then that's what I want to be. And really important as us as adults to keep that sense of imagination, to keep that even when the world outside is, treading on our necks, right? And doing the best it can to still push us and confine us in these spaces. Imagination is a part of our joy, and joy
Yeah.
is the only thing that reverts trauma, right? So
Mhm.
we have to
Speak,
keep moving with those kind of
speak, say
things.
that. When you say polymath, I was like, what's that? I've never heard of that before. And then as you started describing it, I was like, that's me. People
Yeah,
always, if
yeah,
anybody sees my computer open, they get so annoyed with me because I have a million tabs. And I pick jobs where I have a lot of autonomy and I
yeah,
can bounce around and do multiple things at once because that's how I work
yeah,
best, right? I
yeah.
do think I put on a conference because even though it's one thing, there's many parts to it, right? Because that's the only way
Correct.
that I'm fed. I get to use all parts of my brain to do something,
Correct.
right? And so I was
Yeah.
like,
So welcome, by the way, to
nobody
being
ever
a poly.
told
Like
me.
these are things that, like I said, aren't often taught to us, right? Like what is a polymath? And like most people that are, just to real quick with you, if you don't have multiple things going on and you have one task, right? Oftentimes we never do that task. We procrastinate on it, we push it aside because it's not something that's fulfilling all numerous things. And that
Mhm,
leads to a whole nother conversation of oftentimes how, we live in a country where often people are misdiagnosed with all
mhm,
of these different ailments and emotional behaviors and things like that, right? Not even talking about how Eurocentric like those diagnoses are to not accommodate everyone, but it's because of things like this, because we're taught we have to be one dimensional, and we're not one dimensional, right? We're so vast and so wide. So
mhm.
welcome to having a word for being a polymath.
I'm gonna be like, hey, don't hate on me. I'm a polymath. I love that. Thank you. All right, you because we could keep
Yeah,
this
you want another poem? I'll give
I
you
do
another.
the topic.
Yes, yeah, I told you, girl, I like to talk. Okay, so I am going to do a poem as imaginations. I was going to do something else, but I think this is suited for the conversation and how it's going. So I'm going to do a piece called Mermaids. And it's really
Yes.
about, the ownership of yourself, because I also just love mermaids. So here we go. Mermaids are the most magical beings on the planet. You tell me what other woman can show up in the middle of an ocean drenched in salt, mascara still intact, showing off half of her body that looks like a trout, and still have a boat full of sailors chasing the idea of her, all lining up to chase something that they were told doesn't exist. A childish dream sunken at the bottom of a shipwrecked reality, praying for a glimpse of magic, a glance at the impossible, a chance to live beyond the confines of our own lungs, to breathe in the underbelly of the earth and remember how happy you were as a child to be at the center of the world instead of walking on top of it, because really, what human being would rather walk than float on a horizon at the end of the day? You see, as a kid, I dreamed of becoming a mermaid. What waking up with a cascade of light bouncing from each scale, hair painted in a kaleidoscope of iridescent, and listening to the water call my name like a mother's tuck of hair behind my ears. But of course, as an adult, I'm supposed to stop believing in merfolk and sirens because we all have to grow up eventually, right? Or I could just research 100 different reasons of how mermaids are real. Where do they come from? What is their favorite food? Do they have dope ass pets like killer whales or a giant purple octopus that will pull a man apart if they don't come correct? What is the latest seashell couture? Or would trap music be offensive to play at a catch and release recovery meeting? Is there etiquette to where to go to the bathroom? Or is it so free in a mermaid's hood that merfolk just let it rip in the middle of a coral rug? I wonder, did Erica Badu learn how to cast love spells by listening to sirens sing? And most importantly, who was the first to catch a glimpse of a mermaid and make her story into a legend? What was her name, her title, her position amongst the other mermaids? Maybe I just wanted to be her, the mermaid without a name that gave humans something to search for beyond land, the hope in the midst of rolling storms, the sparkle of a fin when you feel the tsunami rising in your throat, the beauty of stillness when the tide is washing away the best sandcastle you ever constructed. Do you remember when you wanted to see magic so badly that you believed it into truth? Do you remember the first time you caught a glimpse of what made you whole, a glance at how you could make the impossible possible? Or a glimmer of stardust for someone in the middle of a midnight solitude? Do you remember waking up and seeing a single scale grow from your palm, or the broken heart that you mended with fishing line to make sure that someone else didn't drown in their blues? The shaking voice that you steadied still so someone beyond the anchor of a mic would not feel deserted? Do you know that that cascade of light grew into a legacy of starfish learning to swim instead of being abandoned at the bottom of the sea? How many people have you taught to swim against the current, to look for you when the world is too vast, too wide, the ocean, a sky of tightrope too thin to balance? Why would you ever stop believing in mermaids when you are the indigo that everyone has been dreaming to find? Do you remember who first saw you? Did they keep you awake long enough to know that the rest have been sleeping on you? Did they tell you that your shadows are only one dimensional? Do you know that your body only keeps 1/3 of oxygen that you breathe in, that you were made to give 2/3 of an exhale away and still survive? Is that not magic? To give more than we receive and still be alive, to still have the energy to dream, to exchange air for others to pay forward? Does it matter if they know your name? When you can name the first moment that you snagged intention like a flailing swordfish, like a life raft that you built from the wreckage, like a ninth grade teacher that showed you how to dive between the lines of a composition book, composing scribble into song, like the first time you unplugged your voice from drowning in silence and trembled from the quiet of others finally listening? Do you know that even when you show up drenched in salty tears, looking like a fish out of water, uncomfortable and tired, showing off nothing but your heart, that the world will still chase the dream in you? So when they tell you to stop believing in magic, look at the scale of impossible that you have bathed in like a baptism, and then lean in real close and tell them that the world is full of mermaids, but it's up to you to lead them back to the ocean.
Hmm. Ooh, Kat, you are speaking my language. Listen, magic and believe in the impossible, and so that has Kyrishi written all over, right? I think the thing that I really want to lift up is, especially for girls, right? Especially for young girls, um, so often we are told in various ways, right? Like, no, I want to be clear that no is not always verbal. There are a lot of ways that no gets told, right? There's a lot of ways that like patriarchal ideas are put on us about what we can and cannot be, what we should and should not do, right? And I think one of my saving graces is that from my body to my personality, I think I just don't fit in the box. Not that the box hasn't been forced on me, right? And in so many different ways, right? And really, it's kind of this war that happens of like, am I gonna submit and give in, and shrink and play small? Am I gonna hate myself, or am I gonna resist and choose to love myself, right?
Yeah.
And I was fortunate, but I know so many people, especially women who, as young girls, were told that they weren't enough. That they were told that who they were wasn't good enough, and they shrank and they played small. And who you see, and now in their 30s and 40s, there's an awakening happening, right? And they're having to unlearn all of the junk that was put on them at
Correct.
such an early age. So yeah, it was.
Yeah. I mean, look, I keep it honest as much as I can in this world. So, I was a woman who came out of an abusive household, and definitely was told to be many things that I was not. And I was also a woman that did try to fit into the box, that I did try to mold and shape everything from my appearance to my attitude to my voice to like everything, to fit within an image that didn't make sense with me. And I will say this, right? It took so many years to uncondition, right? This idea that if I was just Kat, however Kat came out that day, right?
Mm,
Um, that I was still valuable enough to be loved was the false belief system that I had, that if I was not conforming to whatever the box is, right, that day, whether I wasn't feminine enough, whether I was too aggressive, right? You remember I had super short hair that was shaved and crazy and all the things, right? So I didn't look approachable. There was just a lot that was happening. And if I didn't do those things to downplay who I was, if I didn't silence myself enough, if I didn't smile enough, if I didn't grow my hair out, if I didn't do this, that, yeah, the false belief was that you will never be loved and you will never be accepted. And I am so happy these days, not only
mhm.
to continue growth, because growth is ongoing for anybody listening. It's
Yes,
a long process. It's a lifelong
yes.
journey. It's not, oh, I did this 30 days of this whatever, or I wrote in this journal and now I'm fixed. Like it's an ongoing process. But I'm happy to see more people doing it. And I'm also happy to see more young women taking that stance to say, no, this is who I am.
Mm,
And it's just lifelong, and it's going to continue to be lifelong, unfortunately, because all of the growth and resilience that we gain throughout the years, as long as there is still misogynistic, chauvinist, patriarchal, racist, right? Homophobic, xenophobic, like all of the phobias and isms in the world that we have to fight against, then we're always going to have to continue to grow because they are still present. It is
mm,
not until the day that those are abolished, right, that we don't have to continue to grow. And personal growth starts with us. Like we can't help any of those isms and phobias until we're okay here. And
mm,
so, right, it's so important for us as women, particularly, right, to be at our center and our core and at peace, right, with ourselves and what that looks like before we strap on any armor, right? I also want to say it's not always your job to strap on armor. Sometimes it's your job to just be present as you are in the world. And I think for a long time, we've all been taught like we have to fight, we have to resist, we have to this. Sometimes that looks like just showing up happy within yourself and showing other people that you are more than enough, that you can be loved, that you can be appreciated, that you can be centered without all of the, nonsense, without all of the character, without all of the, pretending. And so that's a
right.
long journey. But I think it's really important. And it's one of the reasons I wrote the poem, right? Of like, I feel like we also get caught up in titles very often. And this is for all genders, right? Of like, my title is this. We see it on social media often, right? Of
Mm,
folks portraying an existence, a life, a title in which sometimes they don't have and they feel like they want to, right? And that's great. Manifesting, I'm here for it. But when you feel like you have to completely fake the funk, right? And have a title or a position or something like that to make you
that you're not good
valuable,
without it.
right? That's when it becomes very problematic. And for me, a part of my unconditioning myself from what that looked like was death of the ego, right? And death of the ego meant if no one knew your title, Kat, if no one knew your position in the world, if no one knew, if people didn't even remember your name, but
Which
you walked into the world knowing that you aided this world to become better in whatever way that was, whether you were a dishwasher, whether you're a security guard, whether you're a bartender, whether you're packing boxes, whether you're a teacher, right? Whether you're a producer. And I have had all of those titles, by the way, all of them, some of them simultaneously, right?
they were.
Right. But what I know is I don't care where I show up. I don't care if I'm picking up trash on the side of the freeway. What I know is that I love people. What I know is that I'm a good listener. What I know is that I will speak life into people, and I can do that from any position. And when I found out what my real gifts were, not
Mm,
I'm a poet, that's not my best talent.
mhm,
My best talent is people, and I
mhm,
can do that anywhere. And once I started doing that, the value of my love, the value of being loved, the value of knowing my worth
mhm,
was so much easier to recognize.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, all of that. It's like, can you be okay with you regardless? And I also want to uplift in what you said is that joy is medicine. It's some of the best medicine. Imagination is some of the best medicine to believe. Because when we talk about liberatory leadership, we're talking about creating the world we want and being the people who can do that. A lot of that is imagination. A lot of that is believing and seeing what is not currently there and imagining what it looks like, because you can't create what you can't see, right? And I'm learning that in my own personal
Correct.
life right now, right? So but joy, I can't say enough how much joy combats not just the ills and the dis-ease in the world, but the ills and the dis-ease in our bodies, right?
I mean,
You
therapists
got
have
a few minutes.
proven.
You got a 2 minute poem. You got a 2 minute
Oh,
piece. You ready
I got a 2 minute poem. I'm gonna do a 2 minute poem because, girl,
to do
like
it?
I
I
said,
don't
we
want to
can
take.
talk.
All right.
Okay. Because um, I'm a woman, you a woman. We probably have women in here. I'm gonna end this on a woman tip.
Please.
Yes.
I
All
love
right.
it.
Let's do this. Um, you are not perfection, but you are beautifully flawed. To the women who carry more weight than the average, understand that this is only to cushion the blows of truth wrapped in gut feelings. To
Mhm.
the laps, tummies, and chest of big mama syndrome that children rest their heads on and make them feel at home, look at it as being built as a mansion instead of a house you are more comfortable to live in. You
Mhm.
see, your hair was meant to mat and tangle, shapeshifting into nets to catch the wind so you could hear the whisper of God. Your hands are calloused and perfectly worn, fit into prayer comfortably. Let every scar, pockmark, and hints of acne show as a sign of your soul bubbling to escape your flesh. Your skin is not smooth, but neither was your life, so wear your scars proudly. Because you hold the secrets of your past and the lessons of your future. You were not meant to compete with airbrushed insecurities hidden in the pages of the unattainable. You are more than a fantasy. You are a real person. So demand that you won't be just another page turned over. Your freckled skin specked on shoulders resembles kisses of angels. So the more you have, the more you've been hollered at by divinity. Walk hard and shake the foundation of others. Demand your presence with every switch in your walk, because it was a long road for you to get here. Wear your traveler's feet unpainted to show the lineage of where you come from, or adorn your toes with brilliant colors to show that you are a queen. From the soul up, your bitten fingernails gnawed through stress to escape rabbit holes seam with darkness. Your stretch marks seam the world together, and you hold life under your navel. Let no man tell you that you're not beautiful when you're the only one that can give them breath. You see, your thick thighs and swollen booty might be too much for them to handle. You mingle with angels in your sleep and drool to water your rosebud ambitions.
Mm,
Hold your head high, girl, with your gray strands, platinum locks, thinning curls, or bodacious weaves, because you paid a price to look this good. You see,
mm,
your lips are chapped from true serum swallowed, mouth crooked and purged from pushing freedom from behind your teeth, gapped apart, soldiers' blood crypted in crosswalks. You talk street slang to communicate with those who need prayer the most. You are the most beautiful version of human transcribed into woman. Let no one tell you different. No, you are not perfection. You are all better than that. You are beautifully human. Thank you so much, Kyrishi, for
Oh,
having me. I
thank you,
appreciate you
Kat.
guys. This has been amazing.
Thank you, Kat. I love you so much. I'm so I had apprentice yesterday. I have you today. This is a blessing. This weekend, I'm writing. Like I'm already,
Yes, I
I'm
love that.
already inspired.
I love that. Thank you
So,
so
so
much,
much.
guys. I hope everyone enjoys the conference and gets their soul filled up and gets all the inspiration they need. It's been an absolute blessing to be here.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a brief break and then we're going to get into our first panel of the day, which is uh we will win. We will win. We will win. Getting into the work for 2024.